Welcome back to the morning show. How radioactive are you? Well, you may be surprised. Today, Matt Sellon is here to show us how radioactive everyday items are. This is, of course, Wise Guy Wednesday.
There are a lot of things in our house which are pretty radioactive.
You know, you've scared me this morning.
Oh, you don't have to worry, because there's radiation all around us, and there's nothing we can do to get away from it, so we should just be used to it. In fact, we are used to it.
Yeah.
So before I start, I forgot to mention last week, Cassidy Voorhees is the person who sent in the great answer about the exoskeletons, and she's from Cerro Gordo, and so I just wanted to mention her name real quick.
Okay, well,
But,
congratulations.
right, so we've talked about atoms before and how they're solids, liquids, and gases and so on. What's inside the atom? How's an atom made? And there's this little tiny thing called a nucleus, and that's what determines the behavior of radioactivity, basically. And so atoms are, if you imagine an atom being the size of a beach ball, the nucleus would be the size of a grain of sand. That's right in the middle of the beach ball. It's very, very tiny, but most of the mass of the nucleus is in there. And nuclei are made up of protons and neutrons. And the very simplest nuclei has, if I look at this little thing here, there's 2 marbles that are green and 2 that are blue. They represent 2 neutrons and 2 protons. Okay. And that's a helium nucleus. And here, there's a whole bunch of marbles. This would be a heavier nucleus. And if I just add 1 neutron, for example, to this thing, it can become unstable and it can decay. And so that's what happens quite often. We have nuclei that just naturally decay, and there's nothing we can do about it. And they tend to decay by giving off alphas or betas or gammas. And alphas are just these kind of little nuclei, little helium. Betas are electrons, and gammas are just high-energy light. Okay, so that's what radioactivity is. So the question was for this week, what's the most radioactive thing in your home? What contains a lot of these kind of nuclei? And there's lots of answers, and the best one I got was from Sherry Gibbons in Catlin, and she said, the smoke detector in your house.
That was my guess, but that's not...
And we can try this. Here, you have the Geiger counter. And
We'd let Robert have the Geiger counter today.
And you can hear that thing ticking like crazy, and your little dial over there has gone off scale. Now, people shouldn't worry, because this is all contained inside. Now, if I put this little shield over there, you'll see it doesn't really go off anymore. So none of this can get at you, but if you break open a smoke detector, you don't want to eat the stuff inside it.
For many reasons.
Does it build up inside the shield, so if you were to remove that, you get a big burst of it? Or?
No. So what this happens is there's a little bit of americium-241 in there. It ionizes the air inside this little container, and then that gives you an electrical current. And when smoke gets in there, it messes up that ionization, and the current stops.
Oh.
So that's how the smoke detectors work. When that current disappears, the alarm goes off. And so, but there are other things that are very radioactive in your house. If you have an old watch with a radium watch dial...
This is my part.
Yeah. You can see that this thing sends the scale way off scale. And you were just mentioning there's an old watch factory not far from here where these used to be made.
Yeah.
Old orange plates.
Shocker here.
Yeah, this is the one that really surprised me.
But listen to this.
This glaze that make that nice orange color contains uranium. And they used to use that when they made just regular kitchen plates.
What is this called? Fiesta ware? And it's primarily the orange ones. It's not the green, the blue. It's
I'm not sure about the manufacturer. That does sound familiar.
That's not just stuff laying around that's radioactive. That's stuff we put, like, we eat.
So here you are, you're carving on this thing, and then you're sopping up the stuff and you're putting it in your mouth. So that's not such a great idea.
Great.
If you go camping, you may use these lanterns.
Oh, yeah.
And so there are these little sheaths that you put...
Those are the mantles that they put inside, and you use that to get the fuel to it.
And they have something called thorium on them, which makes a nice bright glow, but it's also radioactive. All of these things have a half-life of billions of years, by the way, so this thing will be just as radioactive a long time from now.
Oh, good.
Great. We're looking forward to that one.
Right. By the way, half-life means how long you have to wait before half of the radiation has decayed away.
Okay.
Bananas, things that contain potassium are slightly radioactive. You can't see it with this thing because it's very, very slight. And that's my point, is that everything, even in our bodies, it's very, very slightly radioactive. If you had a very sensitive detector, you could notice this. Okay. But of course, you can't.
So even though we've got lots of radiation, it's nothing to worry about.
It's nothing to worry about. Okay. Absolutely not.
We'll be back with more from Matt's later. Still ahead of the morning show, we're going to take you for a getaway in today's Wish You Were Here segment.
Plus, a look at today's weather. Stay with us.